So we're about to put a stove in something that's designed to be a chimney, and we're going to stick it out the wall. Okay?
If we can fit enough stovepipe in the available footprint, then we pull enough heat off that we're dealing with an exhaust that's like 100, 120 Fahrenheit at most. So warm air is a great way to move warmth up and out.
Right.
You're circulating about a third of the home's volume per hour, I think, is at least in the wet climates, to keep it ventilated so there's no mold. And so radiant heat is a great way to move heat out and into objects rather than into space, right? So that's where, with the teepee, we know that the house isn't helping us. The warm air is not going to stick around.
Yeah.
And so we're focusing on radiant. We're focusing on radiant from this wall, heating that wall around the bed, right? And we're focusing on conductive, getting the surface itself warm.
That was a bit wide.
Hello. Need a hand?
Can you grab one of those legs and spin it
The wire end of it roughly.
open?
Nice.
Yeah, that seems
A couple retail shops in town, but he's just like, that's just fun out. Pretty good.
Every color under the sun. In time you'll find that you just have one. Better give them all a shot.
Here's the layout for the bench pipes. We assemble the whole thing to check that we have all the parts and make sure they'll all fit in the available space.
The only thing will be good to
Back
pull.
out, and we should have it out without any rain.
So this is where your bed would be. And it feels like this is not quite round here in a way that would be handy for your bed. But as you fix the teepee, that might be an issue. So we're trying to make a double bed here and a bench to there. And our barrel kind of looks like it's right underneath your short pole if it's reflecting onto the bed. I can move it this way a little bit. But I want the barrel's going to be 54 inches. So 54 is like here, I think. Okay. So I want it a foot away from that at the minimum. You guys are starting to define something that's curving like that?
Just started throwing rocks, I don't know.
Yep. I'd probably bring that in too. Give yourselves more room to play with the skirt.
Okay.
So the better it's stacked now, the better easier it is to build onto. So. Two people pushing gently can help fit the pipes together. Watch out for pinching or cutting your fingers. The ends and the joints can be very sharp. The seams are most likely to hang up, so fitting them together first when you can is a help. Once you're sure that a joint is fitting correctly, stabilize it with at least 3 sheet metal screws or high-temperature foil tape. Leave a couple of key points free to adjust slopes, or if there's a piece where you might have to cut later for length, don't screw that one together just yet. We want a continuous, slight upward rise through this whole thing if we can get it, because that will move heat more smoothly into the far part of the bench where there's the most mass. I'll settle for level, right? Anywhere between level and a 1/4 inch rise. What I don't want is a point where the elbow goes up and then the next pipe goes down and then the elbow goes up again, and that means you've got a hot spot where the hot gases are stagnating at the top, right next to a thin spot in your actual masonry level on top.
You can stir it with a stick and see. Oh, that looks nice.
It's not as hard on the mix as padding, but I want to see the motion. I don't want to see the motion going into the wall.
And the other thing that
If you both, let's see. You got
Where do we want
Anytime you want to make tensile strength, like where it would, if you sat on it, it would make it pull away from the other stuff, that's where you want it strong. A nice rounded metal panel for our heat shield. These will be wired to the teepee poles near the barrel with 1-inch spacers to allow air movement and protect the wood and canvas from any excess heat.
Well, put the on there. So yeah, oh wow. So the core is way down there. Yeah. And we can change the in front of it with the 1-inch gap.
Stop at that level.
Yeah.
Just so we're not. So we've got a double 1-inch barrier between this.
We can also hang a heat shield on the barrel.
Yeah.
Like the berm is great, but like see what does it? Back up little by little. Yeah.
Okay, now we take. I'm also thinking you got an 8-inch.
Oh, wait, did you say it right? Yeah.
We're putting in a T for clean-out access and adjusting the connector to our experimental firebox core. I'd love to have the T as far back as we
Okay.
Yeah. Luckily they come with
How we gonna feed the masses? There's enough for you and me. Life today seems pretty good. Like we came out on top.
Okay, got it.
And start setting it down right there. Don't go anymore. Don't go anymore. Don't go anymore.
So just lower it down.
Yep.
Push it back. Push.
Keep going.
Look at the barrel.
This is.
Get it?
Oh yeah!
Stand next to somebody and watch it on television.
Alright. This guy.
Light the into that. Toss it down the burn tunnel a bit.
Well, we could have had the
Get a good lit.
port added.
There you go. Now tuck the end up. There you go.
That can be a little beyond that.
Another one behind it. These are nice
Behind
sticks.
So
Carlson's going to do the TP demo.
So I would have to say the number one wrap-up note. So when the video ended, is that this bench was not done, and it looked rough, and it looked cold out. So a lot of fire was put to it to kind of stiffen it up good, so we could start putting on some of the finishing plaster layers. Here we are, years later. The important thing is the experiment worked.
Yes.
At the end of the winter, Emily and Tony experienced one night where it was 26 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. And they got up and they were about to head out to work. And they took off their night clothes and they got into their day clothes. And then they got outside and they realized it was damn cold outside. 26 below! And they had no idea it was so cold outside. So they said that inside it felt like it was about 50 degrees, maybe a little over 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And the fire had been out for 8 hours. If you like this sort of thing, come on out to the forums at permies.com, where we talk about rocket mass heaters, homesteading, and permaculture all the time.